Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about windage, which is a way to prevent parts from coming out of the mold where there's warpage. So if you lay out a part with a constant wall section and you just use straight lines on these walls, it tends to end up like this when it leaves the mold and it starts cooling. So this is, we refer to this as oil canning. And anyhow, it warps in, and that is not acceptable a lot of times. So what we're going to do is we're going to show everybody how to deal with that, and we put in a feature called windage. So here's a square, and if we say E for extrude, and we pull this thing up, it's a square, and that's the problem we were just looking at. And we can put our taper in here and minus whatever 1 degrees, and we can, fillet it and then shell it and all that. But what I wanted to go back to do is I'm going to edit this feature, and I'm going to go back to the sketch here, and I created this little sketch here that we can adjust. And so I'm going to add this to the extrude. And so now we've got this bowing that's bowing out. So hopefully you can see that. And so when it bows out, when it starts cooling, it can't collapse on the inside. So it starts pulling in these corners first versus this bigger windage here out here in the corner. And so that's how that works. And what we can do is we can hit OK, and then we can go back to our main sketch and we can bring it in. So let's just look at the main sketch here. And so I went ahead and created an offset here, and all the way around this, I created this sketch feature that it offsetted this dotted line here. That's our construction lines. And so I can either take it out, so we could go out to whatever 4 millimeters. Oh, it doesn't like that. Let's say 2. And now it's a bigger windage, right? Or we can go smaller, and we can go like 0.25, which is a real small amount. And now it's barely negligible. You can barely see it because it's such a small amount, but it still helps with that oil canning, and it'll stop that from happening. So this is how we deal with it. We kind of make it big, and then we bring it in. And now we can put fillets in there. So we go F for fillet, and we spin it around, and we grab this one here, and we spin it around. And voila, we've got 4 edges, and we can create a, whatever, 20 millimeter fillet. We can make it smaller. Let's make it 10. And now we'll put another one up here, and we'll just grab that chain there, and that'll be 10. And now we can spin it under here, and we can click on this. Here, I'm going to change the colors of this so it's a little bit easier to see. So we go to this display components here. Sorry about that. And if I click this, I can then create a shell. So here's this shell command, and that hollows it all out to an even wall section. So we punch it in here, and we'll say, 3 millimeters. And now that's what that part looks like. So one of the things that we need to think about is like mold splitting. And so the part is got a parting line where the mold splits apart, which is right here. So this is our parting line. And the top of the mold will have these features on it, and the bottom will have the inside features. So sometimes that's not easy to do in an assembly design, and you need like a window or something. So we're gonna create a sketch, and I'm gonna use a rectangle, and I'm just gonna create a rectangle like this, and I'm gonna hit E for extrude, and I'm going to extrude it in 2 directions here, so symmetrical, and we'll just pull this out, and we'll create a cut. And so this is a part, and if we think about our parting line, it's going to have to go around here where the mold would break apart, and then it has to go up and over. And if you look at this thing and look at it straight on, when the steel from the top comes down, it's going to wrap around this, and we have to be able to not make the upper steel crash into this steel. Excuse me. And so what we want to do is we want to put some draft on this. So I'm going to show you, this is what everybody refers to as a shutoff. So we have a parting line that goes around the base, and then a shutoff is when steel hits each other. So I'm going to create a draft, and I'm going to make this the draft angle, and then I'm going to grab some of these, and I'm going to grab this right here, and I'm going to grab this right here, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to give it like 5 degrees. And so now it's when you look at the window, the steel from the top can wrap around this. And we'll show you, we're going to do a mold split right after this, real basic mold split. So I'm going to hit OK. And then again, it's always nice to have radiuses in features like this when you're designing it. So I'm going to put a radius right here, because when I cut my mold, I'm going to want to be able to wrap it around this feature, and it's easier to wrap around a radius than it is around a sharp edge. And sharp edges are just difficult to work with. So I'm going to grab that edge. I'm going to grab that edge, and I'm going to say whatever, 5 millimeters. So now we've got a box with a window on the side and a window on the other side. And we're just going to make this real simple. So I'm going to hit save, and we'll say before shrink. So we want to be able to add shrinkage to this thing. So we're gonna go, and let's make this out of polycarbonate. And so if we go into our simulate here, and we go to simulate, and we go ahead and we make it an injection mold simulation. We're going to create a study, and we're going to select a material right here. Let's study material properties. And so we're going to put in polycarbonate. So it's pulling up the library here. And we're going to find out what the shrinkage is. So I'm going to type in polycarbonate. And it's going to come up over here, and we're just going to get a Lexan. So this is a good one, a polycarbonate. And we'll just click on this, and we'll use this. Let's add it as a favorite. And then we'll go in here and we'll pick it. And we're going to double click on this and say select. And so now when we go to look at the properties, let's just go and look at the materials. So we're going to edit this, and we're just going to look at what the shrinkage is, and then we're going to apply that shrinkage to the molded part. So we're going to go in here. We've got the Lexan selected right here. And now we can go to shrinkage down here. And so it's 0.59%. Okay? So remember that number, 0.59%. It's not even 1%. It's 0.59%. So we're going to go back out to our design, and we're going to scale this, and we're going to go modify, scale, and we're going to pick the part, and we're going to make a scale factor of 0.1 would be 10% of 1, so 0.059 is 0.59%, but we went in the wrong direction. We have to go up, so we're going to go 1.059, and so that's slightly bigger. So hopefully you can see this right here. If I left the 1 out of there, see what it does. It scales it way down. Whoops, 0.059, it gets real small. If I put a 1 in front of there, it's that. So we want to go 1.059% bigger, and we hit OK. And then we usually save this and we say it could be a different part because we use these as parts in the main assembly, and we could save it as something else. But so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say, File, Save As, and I'm going to say winded parts, parting lines, molded splits with shrinkage. So we want to save it with the shrinkage as a separate part. So we can, so we're not going to mess with the original. So you're going to see another part pop up over here, and we're going to get rid of this one right here, and we're going to open this one up. We're going to go open, and so we want to make sure we're working with the right part. We don't add double shrink. So up here it says windage parting line mold splits with shrinkage. So now this is the one that we want to leave alone, and so what we want to do is we want to create a parting line around here. So the parting line is going to be coming out, and we're going to make a block of aluminum around this, and we're going to subtract this cavity, and then we're going to use some surfaces to make the algorithm split along these surfaces here. Okay, so let's talk about this parting line. So I went in and did a little bit of work so we can get through this quickly. And we have to offset some surfaces to extend the edge that's going to split the mold cavity apart out to these construction planes out here. So we're gonna create these construction planes. We're gonna then add sketches out there. So we're gonna keep adding these, and then you'll start seeing these sketches emerge where I projected these lines out here onto this surface. So I created a surface on this plane, and then I projected these lines around here to get that. And we do it on all four sides. And now we've got that, but we have to connect all this because we're going to create a series of surfaces that come out and wrap around this steel, and then they define the parting line down here. So the parting line is going to be wandering. It's going to go up and over and around and off. So we'll keep coming forward, and now we're going to sketch one big square around the bottom, and then we're going to extrude or loft these surfaces out. So we're going to keep adding these lofted surfaces, and they just go out to the edge. And now we have to create little quadrants right in here of sketches so we can create a patch. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll this patch forward, and I need to turn off all the other sketches so you can't see them. And we're gonna do patch, and we're gonna go create patch, and we're gonna just grab that, and we're gonna go OK. Then we're gonna we gotta turn that back on. We can actually do it all at once. So we're gonna go create repeat patch, and we're gonna go there, there, and there. And now we've defined the parting line. So we've got a parting line, and we might as well make it interesting, and we'll just create a sketch, and we'll put a circle. We'll just put a circle out here, and we'll go E for extrude, and we'll blow this right through, and we'll add some draft to it, 5 degrees. And then we could pattern this. We can go create, and we can go back to solid, and we go create pattern, and create a circular pattern, and we'll grab a feature, which is the last feature down here. And then we're going to grab an axis, which is this z-axis here. Whoops. We're going to go in here. We're going to grab this axis right here. And we're going to make it 4 times around. What is going on here? Oh, the feature. Let's grab the faces of this. And then we say OK. Whoops. No, that's not the axis. We're going to select these faces. We're going to go to axis. And now we've got a little pattern up there. So what we also have to do is we have to cap off these, because if you look at the top of it, we don't have any draft going this way, but if you look at the bottom of it, you can see a double line there. And so that means the draft's going this way. So we want to cap the top because the steel is going to come up from the bottom here. And we're just going to go, whoops, go here, and we're going to go and turn off the last sketch, and we're just going to go create. We're going to go to surface, create a patch. You're just going to grab that surface and hit OK, and right click and do it again. That surface, hit OK, right click, hit OK, and then we're going to create the mold cavity next. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And so we've got one body right here. So we've got all these surfaces and we've got one body. So we can select all the surfaces and create a selection set. We'll right click on that and create selection set. And that means we can then turn it on and off. So when we want to grab all the surfaces, they're all right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to create a new body. So there's bodies and surfaces. So I'm going to go to solid, and I'm going to create a sketch, and it's going to be a rectangle. And we're going to go from the center here out. And we're going to go a little bit less than the outside edge of this because we want this surface to divide everything. So I'm going to just go there, and I'm going to dimension this. I'm going to put a D for dimension. I'm going to go 125. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go 125. And we can always trim this back after we split it. And I'm going to go E for extrude. And I'm going to extrude it. And I'm going to extrude it in two sides. And this side, I'm going to pull it up above all this. And I'm going to create a new body. So I'm going to say new body. And the bottom's going to go down. And so now if we look at the side of this thing and we switch to visibility as wireframe, we can see that it's all within this boundary right here. And so it's a new body, so I'm going to hit OK. And so we've got this first body that is up here. And we'll just rename this. We'll say this is the body with shrinkage. So it's part with shrink. And then down here, we're going to call this the cavity body. And so since we've already added shrink, we can do a Boolean subtraction. So we'll go and so you kind of have to play around with things here in this cavity split. It's kind of funky how it works. But we basically got ourselves a cavity. So if I hide this, we've got that cavity. We can hide the stitch there. And this is what we're going to machine. Or we can turn that off. We can turn the cavity on here. And this is the cavity side. So you can see the shutoff, how it wraps around that steel. So when this side of the mold closes on the other, they won't hit each other. That shutoff angle is about 5 to 10 degrees. So this is how you deal with a shutoff angle and generating a parting line. So real quick, if we go back, we look at this and we go edit feature, and we select the surface, the stitch surface, and then the cell that we're trying to split. So this is, I select the bottom one there and I hit OK, and that makes the split there, and then I have to split it again. And so I go back and I redo it and I select the other side. So I go edit feature and I select actually both sides. I'm now cutting them both. And so I hit OK, and it takes a little bit of playing around, and then I create a component. So we've turned them from bodies into components. So now we can work with them as they're intended to be. So if we go in and we create a section view here, we click on whoops, cut plane this way. We can see how we came through, and we can see the cavity that we created in here. So that's that, and then you'll see the shutoff coming through here where we've got that shutoff right there. And so that's how we do it. And then you can see the windows that we capped off are right there. So this is kind of one of the dark arts of Fusion and any kind of mold making package is trying to do these splits. And we'll leave it at that. We'll do it again and keep practicing. To get better, you just have to practice. Okay.